Alright guys, this is vlog 2. It is Saturday. Get my seatbelt on here. It's 35 degrees. Gosh, it's a heat wave. You guys can see good and hear me good. I may turn that heat down a little bit so you won't have all that buzzing sound going on. We're going to put this thing back into four-wheel drive just in case. It's raining. It's been raining ever since morning and early morning, and that's great because that's melting off this snow, and we need that. We've had winter storm warnings for 3 days, so I'm going to get out for a little while. As you can tell, it's kind of a cloudy day, and like I say, it is raining. We are going to take a little small trip, and I thought I'd just talk a while. Now, I'm not going to make these vlogs long. Try not to anyway, and I'm gonna do some editing. I'll have to do that because I'm fixing to make probably a 15-minute trip one way, 30 minutes round trip. Great thing about this little GoPro is I charged it just a few minutes ago. I don't know if you've seen my video on my little charger pack that I got. Man, that thing's just great for charging my cell phone, but it's even better for charging this little camera. I've already charged this little camera right here now 3 times off of that, and you know how it has like 4 lights, 3 lights, 2 lights. You know, as it breaks down and starts starting losing juice. That thing hasn't even moved yet. So apparently it doesn't take much to charge this battery up. And when you're talking, I think it might have said 4 hours and 37 minutes, something like it. It gives the time on the thing. And right now too, another feature I've got it on is I've got it on upside down. In other words, if you flip the camera upside down, you can punch into the program of it, and you can make it flip around. So you can do that in post in my little software, which is Vegas. I can flip it, but here I don't have to worry about it. So I had it up the other way, and as you'll notice in yesterday's or day before yesterday's vlog, my rearview mirror was in the way, so I flipped it around. I've got this suction mount thing that's really a big, heavy piece of equipment. I mean, it's all metal, and it's got big suction cups on it, and you have a hard time getting it off when it's time to get it off. And I got it stuck to the window, and even though it was that heavy duty with that Canon camera of mine, I think yesterday I called it a 2Ti. I was wrong. It's a T2i, and really nice. I mean, it's a nice camera, but it's pretty heavy, and it just didn't want to support it very well. It would actually, do some moving and shaking and stuff. So anyway, I thought I'd sit here and spend a little time. I think that eventually, I'm not going to keep doing these vlogs on my regular YouTube channel. Eventually, I'm going to take and probably start another channel. I don't know what I'm going to call it offhand. I'm hoping to relate it to ArkansasPrepper, so that way it'll be easier to find, but I may not. I mean, I may call it AP Vlog. People call me AP all the time. Just short, so. But the thing about vlogging is it kind of gives you an idea more of who I am. And what's really strange is I did 2 vlogs, and I got 2 thumbs down right off the bat. So apparently somebody's not liking this. They either they didn't like what I was talking about, or they're disappointed in the fact that I'm not what they thought I was. I don't know. And people get these ideas. It's called the halo effect. I'm not saying that everybody thinks I'm a saint. I'm just saying that it's common. I'll give you a good example, very good example. Kim Kardashian, she's not talented. She can't sing or dance. I mean, she really can't do anything. Most of her body's not even hers. And people like her. And I can understand, teenage girls or just women in general enjoying the show. Because it's a lot about the women, and I understand that. I'm not shaking that at all. But how someone can be so famous, they can't do anything, nothing at all. It just blows my mind. But everybody thinks in their mind that she's this wonderful person. She does this, but they don't know anything about her. You know nothing about Kim Kardashian except what you see in the tabloids or other things like that. it just happens quite often. Let me give you another example. Let me give you a really good example. Bill Cosby. Now, guys, I mean, who in a million years would have thought that what was going on in his life was going on? And I know it's all, you know, people are saying this, but we all kind of have an idea about what, you know, one or two people lying is one thing, but when you get this far into it, and Bill Cosby had that halo effect of all of us. Everybody thought that, you know, he was just a really good person. He did pudding commercials with kids. He was always really good about not using bad language. He had one of the very first African American family shows on television, to where the father was not, you know, struggling to make ends meet like some of the other shows in the past. You know, so maybe that's why I got thumbs down. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know at all. You know, you can give a perception on YouTube with your videos, and people will think something about you that maybe it's not really about you. Now, so that's what I want to talk about. Okay, I live in Arkansas, as all of you know. Yeah, Lubbock. I live in Arkansas. Lubbock Prepper asked me that at Prepper Stock. Where you from? And he could tell he had made a mistake right off the bat when he knew it was Arkansas Prepper, and he was asking me where I was from. But anyway, and we all got a kick out of that. Even he. I'm here. I've been here. Well, that box is out in the road. That's wild. I was born and raised here. Like I say, my home is probably less than 12, 15 miles from the actual hospital that I was born. I have lived in other parts of the state. I have lived in Colorado for just a short period of time, just a few weeks. Didn't like it at all, and I came back home. That's when I was younger. You know, I've worked in law enforcement most of my life, but not all of my life, but most of my life. I started in the prison systems. I then went on into a administrator of a large regional jail that covered many counties in northeastern Arkansas. One of the first, or the first, regional jail that was ever built. We had so many beds that we advertised. Even the feds sent us federal prisoners from Memphis, Tennessee, for us to house for them. And because that was my background, and I knew a lot about it. Went on to be a police officer at the age of, I was 32. You know, and most police officers, you see them for 21, 22, 23. I was 32, and I was considered to be an old man at the police academy. I made it through it just fine, didn't do bad at all, and came out of it and did that for quite a while. Got to where in a very short period of time, I realized that I didn't have enough rank to stay to where I didn't have to be out on patrol, that I got to where I just didn't feel like that I was able to protect the public as they needed. I think the first thing that ever got me was when the first time I had to try to catch a suspect, and I couldn't catch him. I just couldn't do it. My abilities to jump fences and go over 6 foot high privacy fences had diminished to the point that, I mean, I could have actually hurt myself because of my age and my ability to do so, and could have hurt someone else, or could not have been able to protect others as they deserve to be protected. So I got out of it. I did, and I went into private investigation. I got my private investigator's license. I did that for quite a while. It seemed like most of the money in private investigating was in personal injury cases, and that didn't come right off the bat. First off, I was doing domestic stuff, divorces, things like that. Then the ones started coming around for the personal injury cases. I'll be really honest with you, I didn't like that. I did not like doing that. I just felt like that was just not right. I just didn't. I mean, people, you know, sure enough, they were injured and they needed to settle their lawsuits, but I just felt like I was, I don't know, kind of like, I feel like I was ambulance chasing, like some attorneys did. I didn't want to do that anymore. I always wanted to live in Lake City. That's where I live at, Lake City, Arkansas. That's where my father lives at. He didn't until several years ago. I mean, he moved there when he started the business that I now own. And that's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to wait for him to retire so I could buy it from him, and I did, and that's what I've been doing. And what I have is I have a uniform linen and dust control company that we deliver, mats and dust mops to schools and things like this of that nature. And we do restaurants and all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to find another heater. My SUV has 2 heaters in it. I'm hoping maybe this heater won't make as much noise and it'll warm me up a little bit. And I've shown my shop to some of you and what we do and stuff. We're really more of a dust control service. We don't go out and clean filters, but we have people that have filters that need to be cleaned. We try to control dust on, that's coming in the door of a school with all these kids with dirt on their feet and the dust mops and stuff like that. And when I say I do restaurants, I do like bar towels, aprons, and things of that nature that a restaurant would use. And I furnish the merchandise, and they use it, and then we put it into a soil bag, and we take it back to our processing plant with a slip inside of it, knowing where it came from. We count it, and then we charge them the next week for whatever they turned in. And we take it back and we deliver it to them. We pick up the dirties, and we just keep doing that and keep rotating that. So my customers really don't come to me. I've got a few that stop in, for like a comforter to be washed, or someone local would do it. But everybody else we deliver to their place of business. We have delivery trucks. But anyway, so my father did retire, like I say, and I bought it from him. I've had it now. This is I think my 11th year. And as most of you know, the last 6 months I've had really a hard time because my father got sick, and he got really sick. It all started, if you want to go back, you can see it all started with the tree falling on his house. He's 74, or he was 74, and it really upset him. There he was, 74 years old, his house was paid for, and he's got this huge tree through his house, and the stress really got to him. And then he just kept getting sicker, guys, and then, like I say, as most of you know, he passed away. It really took a toll on me. I don't know why. My father and I are very close, but it just really tore me up, and I really had a hard time with it. As a lot of you know, too, let's get back to my mother. My mother lives with me. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you are going, oh, he lives with his mama. My mother lives with me. My mother and my father divorced when I was 9 years old. They both had remarried. And my mother's husband, my stepfather, who was a school teacher, he was a basketball referee. He was just really an all-around great guy. About, I think now it's been maybe 8 years ago, he passed away in his sleep one night, and he'd had some heart problems and everything like that. So Mom lived probably 60 miles north of me, her and my stepdad, and when he passed, there was really nothing up there for her because there was no family there. We were all down here. So she wanted to move down here. My brother and I looked for a house for her, and for what she could afford, we couldn't really find anything that was a really nice house. We found nice houses, but we couldn't find one in really nice, safe neighborhoods. So at that time, I decided to go ahead and buy another house, and I did. And then Mom bought my house, and she lived there for about 4 years, and did really good. I mean, she could drive. You guys saw her in the video yesterday. She's 71. Of course, like I say, 4 years ago, what would she be? 68. And is that right? 68, 60, 67? I don't know. Anyway, figured out 4 from 71. So one day, about 4 years ago, I guess 3 years ago, something like that, my daughter, Beth, who is a nurse and lives in Lake City, came to me and said that my mom, which is my mom, is kind of scared at night. and she has this little poodle. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys the poodle. I'll show you. Her name's Angel. She's 7 years old. But the poodle, she barks at everything. She barks at everything. And it would scare Mom, you know, and it could be just maybe the wind blowing outside, but it would scare Mom, and she was afraid that somebody was trying to break in. And you got to understand, guys, we live in a very, very safe area. Of course, you know, safe as you can expect. And but Bess told me that Mama is a little scared at night, and I think maybe she wanted to come and live with me, but my mom's such a sweet person, she didn't want to impose. So I went to her and I asked her, I said, "Hey, Mom, would you like to come and live with Tina and I?" And she was like, "Well, I hate to do that, but you know, y'all got y'all's life." And I'm like, "Mom, my mom and I are 16 years apart, guys, and we grew up together. I mean, really, literally grew up together." And I said, "Mom," I said, "I'm in my 50s, or I'm at 50. At that time, I was about 50. I said, the kids are grown, grandkids are out there. You're great grandkids." I said, "It's not anything going on with us. I mean, it's not like we have a house full of people all the time coming over, and if they do, they're going to be family. So, you know, just come and live with us, you know." So she did. She sold her house, and she moved in, and luckily my home was large enough that I was able to take one end of my house and make a mother-in-law's quarters at that end of the house. And what it is the house had a 2-car garage that was built onto the house, and that garage has been enclosed, so it's, you know, like 24 by 24 room. Plus there's a bedroom and a master bath off down the hallway, and there's a way for us to divide it. We put up a little gate just to separate the dogs, our dog from her dog, and that way everything's separate. And she has a living area in there. She has, you know, television and couch, chairs, and she has a bed in there that she sleeps in there, and it's kind of like a studio apartment, more or less. And that's why she lives with me. All right, don't remember where I left off. I know I was talking about Mom, her living with me, her quarters. I'll get a chance to sometime. I'll run through there and I'll show y'all that. I don't mind doing it. I don't have as much problem with everybody knowing who I am and stuff now, because I've been doing this for so long. It take you every bit of 3 minutes to figure out who I am and where I live at. So I'm not too concerned about it anymore. Besides, I have lots of guns. But anyway. Back to the thing a while ago with the halo effect. I didn't mean for that to sound like that people think I'm just, you know, something special. It's just the fact that you can be deceitful to people, and you can not truly be what they think you are. And I don't like that. I don't at all like that. But just to give you an idea, and this is maybe a little fact for you. I've got over 10,000 subscribers. I have blocked over 600 people on YouTube. I don't know now how many it is. Last time I checked, it was over 600. But after they did the Google Plus thing, I think they took that feature off. But it used to, I could go and check and see how many it was, and there probably still is a way. I just haven't looked at it because it's not that important. But I would go in and look at my subscriber base, and it would list it as, you know, blocked users, and I had blocked over 600 people. If someone does something on my channel and has a nasty remark, I block them. You know, it's not that it upsets me to do it, but I'm the kind of guy, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Just keep it to yourself. I wouldn't do that to you, especially if someone worked very hard at doing something. Now, if I did say something to upset you, I want you to believe that it is, it's got to be unintentional. I didn't mean to do so. You know, in other words, it wasn't a deliberate thing. And if I knew that I did and I hurt your feelings or said something, I guarantee you I would apologize to you. I make comments a lot about people's language, and for some reason I think that makes people think that maybe I'm a very religious type guy. You know, I mean, I live in the Bible Belt, 60-70%. I mean, they'd say 90% would say they're religious, but probably 60%, 70% of the people that are around me are, go to church people. And that's great. That's fine, Danny. I did not go to church every week. I did not do that. I was raised Pentecostal. My family was all Pentecostal. My mom and dad met in church. That's how they met when they got married. So it's always been a thing. But for me, it's the fact that if I've got something here on the internet that children can watch and can just click on and see, I do not want it to have any type of foul language. I'm not going to do that. And if for some reason there was foul language, I would definitely put a warning to say that there is, and do not watch this. I'm that kind of person. But I'm not saying that I won't tell a joke to a bunch of guys at the garage, and it might not be something that's good for women and children to hear, because I'm a guy just like everybody else is a guy. But if I was standing there with a bunch of guys and they were doing the normal language you would hear in a garage while I was there getting my car worked on, and a lady walked up to have someone look at her car, you could bet that here in Arkansas we will all learn, or we will all at that point stop talking that way, and we have respect for others. I think that was something really kind of strange for Tina, because she's from California, and I say that a lot, guys. I know California is a really big state, but she was from the Modesto area and raised there. She just it took her forever to figure out what was going on, because around here, if you're driving, whether you know someone or not, you wave at each other. You kind of wave, and they wave back at you, or they might wave at you first. And Tina was like, "Why are them people waving at me?" And I'm like, "That's because that's what we do here. We say hello, how are you?" If we don't know you, probably the first thing we'd say is, "Well, it's cold out here." Talk about the weather. Some way to do it. We hold doors open for people. We are very, very polite in the South toward others. If I'm walking into a store and someone's walking out, I will very easily say, "How you doing?" And he'll say, "Just fine, how are you?" I'll go, "Fine." We just walk right on by each other, don't know each other. That's just the way we do it. Back to when I was in Colorado, I was in Denver. Of course, straight from Arkansas. A man and woman, elderly man and woman. I was younger, I was probably 19. Elderly man and woman was standing in an elevator, and they were husband and wife, and the door opened, and I walked in. And when I walked in, I looked at the man and I said, "How are you doing today?" And when I said that, his eyes got about this big, like, "Why are you talking to me?" And I could see the fear in his eyes. I guess because we was on the elevator, he thought he couldn't get away from me, and I'm a pretty good sized feller. I'm not huge, but I was a lot bigger than him. And his wife called me a pervert. And I was like, "You got to be kidding me." All I did was said, "How you doing?" And you don't do that, apparently, in Denver, Colorado. And apparently you don't do that in California. You just don't do that. Or where Tina's from in California, you don't do that. So, another fact, or I say fact, another thing that you would see is that if we were sitting in a restaurant in my area, and let's say there was 60 people in the restaurant, and we're all sitting in there and we're eating, and all of a sudden a man and woman get into an argument, and let's say that it's husband and wife, and let's say he does something like just grabs her by the arm. He doesn't hit her or nothing like that, but he grabs her by the arm because he's mad at her. You don't do that in Arkansas, because I guarantee you there'll be about 4 guys on their feet ready to kick his butt right out the door, because we don't tolerate men doing things like that to their wives. Now, and you'll hear somebody say, "Listen, if you don't mind, y'all two take it outside, go home, y'all discuss it. We don't want to hear that type of maybe language with our family sitting here eating." And if he's from here, he will definitely do that, because he knows what's fixing to happen next. If he's not from here, he is going to have a shock of his life. Because the first thing is in Arkansas, when we fight, we don't fight like other people, like street fighting. We don't hit each other and swing and punch at each other. We do what you call a pig pile. About 4 of them, well, first thing they'll do is they'll down him on the floor. And then they'll punch him in his kidneys, in his mouth, in his gut, and then they'll get up and they'll ask him if he wants any more. And if he don't, then he will say, I don't. And then they will get up and go back to their table. But then you gotta watch, because then some little old man that's about 75 sitting at a table that knew he wasn't old enough to get his shot in on the guy, he will probably jump up his table, run over and kick the guy once or twice because of being disrespectful to a woman. And that's just the way we are. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is. I don't mean, we're not violent people, but we do not tolerate people being disrespectful to others. If you go to get a parking space and you're sitting there waiting, you can bet that no one's going to steal your parking space. They're not going to shoot in there and zoom in there and get your parking space. They're not going to do it. Usually drivers here are really good. They're real nice and courteous to each other. But in most cases, if it's not, it's usually going to be a male between the ages of probably 22 to 28. For some reason, that age group of males in Arkansas driving, they just have very short attention spans, and they get angry a lot, and they probably be more of the road rage than anybody else, but they grow out of that. They grow out of it. So, okay, let's see, what else is there? I can't think of anything else to say. Okay, I'll talk about something. Let's talk about Obamacare. I do not have Obamacare insurance. I'm not going to do it. I don't care if they penalize me or what they do. I'm not going to do it. Just to give you an example. Now, I'm not married. Tina and I are not married. I'm not married. I'm going to be 55 next month. My insurance would have been somewhere between $480 and probably $600 a month for Obamacare. It would have had a $5,000 deductible. I'd have been paying that all year long. So let's say it's $500 for 12 months. That would have been $6,000. I needed cataract surgery. It would have covered it, because it's not like an eye exam or glasses or something. It would have covered it because it would be a surgery that I needed. Each eye was $1,800 a piece. I went ahead and got my left eye done. $1,800. I paid for it. And then if I got my right eye done, it'd been $1,800. I would have paid for it. But Obamacare would have covered none of it. I mean, even though it qualified, it would have covered none of it because it's a $6,000 deductible, and we'd only been at $3,600. So I'd have spent $6,000 on insurance. I'd have spent $3,600 on my eyes. So I'd have spent $8,000 to $10,000 last year just because of Obamacare, and would not have gotten a thing done. Now, I realize you're saying, okay, well, what if you was to get hurt real bad? Well, let's talk about that. All right. I get hurt real bad in a car wreck. Car insurance. I don't need Obamacare. Car insurance. Someone else hits me, they got insurance. Liability. What if I take and I'm on the ladder at the house and I fall off and break my leg? Homeowner's insurance. Homeowner's insurance will cover that. If I'm in a grocery store and fall on a banana peel, the grocery store has insurance. Almost everything that you can think of, there's an insurance already there for you to cover whatever may happen to you. Now, I realize, let's say I have appendicitis. No, it's not going to cover it. I have a heart attack. No, it's not going to cover it. There is those things that do occur, but the chances of those occurring before any of the others is, percentages don't match. It don't match up. So I've saved myself, well, I want to say I've saved myself, $6,000, but I guess really I still had to pay, $1,800 for one eye. But I've saved a lot of money, and they're going to penalize me. I think maybe the first year, for last year, I think it's going to be like $300, $400. It's a percentage of your income. They're going to penalize me. Next year it'll be even more. Excuse me. next year it's going to be a little bit more. I hope that maybe by the time our next election cycle comes around, that maybe Congress will be able to do something on this. For me, I think that, I think having insurance is a great thing. I wish that we all could afford it. I wish that we all could have it. But I think what they should have done is they should have just had catastrophic plans that only covered heart attacks, things that would be catastrophic, something really, really serious. Not cover you when you go to the ER because you've got a bellyache. You should, go to your doctor if you got a bellyache, not be going to the ER if you got a bellyache. So I think they could have done that where it was nothing but catastrophic plans, so that people would not go bankrupt. That I'd have to pay for my cataract surgery, or I'd have to pay for my annual visits, or my dental, or everything like that. I got to pay for it out of pocket. If I don't have insurance, I got to pay for it out of pocket. But if something happens and I have something really serious happen to me, like an aneurysm or something like that happened to my father, something like that, then it would be covered. And even if it had a large deductible, it still would be covered. If the deductible had been $10,000 and it only covered catastrophic, we probably could have had insurance plans that might have been $80 to $120 a month. And then we would have that peace of mind that if something like that did happen, we would be covered. Like I say, if I was to have an accident right this very minute here on this, nasty day, and spun around and hit this bridge railing, and I'm going across the bridge, hit the bridge railing, my car insurance is going to pay for all that. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about having insurance. There's just so many things that's out there that covers you anyway, that you're already covered every day. So, at any rate, thanks, guys. I'm getting close to home, and I think that's about all I want to talk about, and that's about probably all I want to watch and edit and go through. So I want to thank you all so much again. I probably will not be doing a lot more of this vlogging unless I start another channel. If I do start another channel, I probably will notify y'all or let y'all know on my not my Facebook, on my YouTube channel, ArkansasPrepper. I'll let you know what's going on. If you want to go there and you want to watch this kind of stuff, hey, come on over and you can get to comment. But I'm not going to be posting them on this channel. I'll just go ahead and I thought about maybe doing some previews, like a little preview thing about it. And then if you want to, you can just click on it, and then it will take you over to the other channel. And if you don't, then you just let the preview play out and go on, or don't even click on it. I'll make sure that I let you know what the little trailer, that's the word I was looking for, a little trailer would have to say. So thanks a lot. Enjoyed this talk. Give me something to do. People look at me like I'm an idiot because I'm driving down the road and talking. But anyway, thanks guys again so much for listening and watching.